Hi friends, today we're making chiles rellenos. Chiles rellenos are a stuffed pepper. They're made in Mexico and are typically filled with either meat or cheese. So first we need to put the poblano peppers on the pan to toast. Make sure that you toast each side evenly. Then we're gonna get 2 eggs and separate the yolk from the egg white. You want to be very careful not to get the yolk with the white part because we're going to mix the white part separately in its own bowl. So make sure you take your time in doing this. Now to mix it. You just want to continue to mix it until it becomes fluffy. It should take about 3 minutes. And we want there to be semi-stiff peaks. This is too soft, so we're going to continue to mix it. And make sure to continue to check on your peppers. Once they're toasted enough, you're going to flip it onto its other side, and you'll know that they're toasted enough once they're brown and wrinkly. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add in the egg yolks. You want to mix those in with the white egg. We're going to ultimately use this as the outside of the chiles rellenos. I needed to stop to go get a spatula to make sure to get it all in. After mixing everything, it's really important that you put this into the fridge so that there's no deflation in the fluffiness. And then we're just going to mix it for just a couple more seconds because we want to make sure that it's all mixed in but don't want to take away from any fluff. Once the chiles have been toasted enough, see this here has a little bit of bright green and we want that to be toasted a little bit more, so we're just going to leave them a little bit more to cook. And just make sure that you're turning them enough for each of them to brown on every side. Once they're done, you're going to put them in a plastic bag and leave them there for about 15 minutes to cool down and to steam. Later we're going to peel them. Okay, so now after the 15 minutes are up, we're going to take them out of the bag and start to peel off all of that toasted part. The reason that we do this is because that part is really bitter. For me personally, it's honestly just really gross. It's not very chewable, it's not tasty at all, it's just burnt waxiness. So you want to make sure to peel all of that off really good. It should be pretty easy to peel off if you've cooked it enough, but be very careful not to rip it. Keep in mind it is a messy process and you will get very dirty. As you're peeling them, make sure that you're being really delicate not to rip it, because these are going to be filled later, and if they're ripped, what's inside will be falling out. So take your time. Okay, so once you have them peeled off, now you want to take them over to the sink to wash them, and then you're going to open them and take the seeds out that are inside. You want to make sure to open it on only one side because we are going to fill them and we don't want the entire thing open, because then things will fall out. But you want to make sure to get out all the seeds. You don't want even one left in there. They're really spicy and acidic, and the chiles rellenos will just taste bad and it'll hurt your stomach. At least it hurts mine. Now you're going to put that to the side and do the other one. While those are drying, you're going to go over to the pan, and I don't really ever measure, but I would say about a cup to a cup and a half of oil, and you're going to let that heat up. While that's heating up, you're going to start to fill the chiles. I'm filling it with picadillo, which is a ground meat that I prepped earlier. Has a couple spices like paprika, a little bit of cayenne pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. It also has some cumin, I think. So I'm just going to fill these as much as possible. We want to make sure that you can still close it because we are going to cover it in the egg mixture and fry them. But just fill it as much as you want, as much as you'd like. They can also be filled with veggies or cheese. And then you're going to pick it up, and usually you should have a toothpick to keep it closed, but it's not necessary. something to keep in mind is that you need to make sure that you put the egg mixture into the fridge. I forgot to do this, so it made it deflate a little, but that's not an issue. You can still just pick up the eggs mixture and put it over the poblano if you end up doing what I did. Then you just want to make sure that the egg wraps around the chile, because you want to make sure that the chile is being fried evenly and every part has a little bit of egg. I didn't do the best part at doing this because of the fact that the egg was so deflated, but you need to remember that mistakes happen when cooking, but that's okay. Then you're going to flip it. You want to make sure that you're really careful not to burn yourself with the hot oil. It's very, very hot. And then I went over and prepped the other one and dropped that in. This one was a little bit harder because I did fill it a little bit too much, but nonetheless, that's okay. You can still make it well. You want to make sure that when you flip it, it is a goldish brown on each side. I'm going to go ahead and add more egg on the top as I did to the other one. If it goes inside, that's okay because it will be fried. Because it's open, you want to make sure that when you flip it that you're really careful so that the meat doesn't fall out. Then you're going to pick it up and put it on a plate with a napkin to make sure that the oil is taken out as much as possible. We don't want super oily chiles rellenos. I like to pat mine with another napkin on the top just to make sure that the oil is mostly taken off. And then they're ready to serve. I went ahead and garnished mine with some green salsa. It's made out of tomatillos and jalapenos with some onion and garlic. I also served it with some red rice on the side. That's just made with onion, garlic, and tomatoes. As you can see, the chiles rellenos are filled super nicely and they look so good. To store it, you just need to put it in an airtight container and just heat it up for later. I hope you guys had fun and learned something along the way. Enjoy!